Hello, and welcome to another production from the Technology Training Team. This video will share information with you about Google Drive and Google Docs. First, you'll learn to navigate in Google Drive and Google Docs. Then you'll learn about organizing content by adding new docs to Drive. And then you'll learn to edit and share. Let's get started. So, what exactly is Google Drive? Google Drive is an unlimited storage space for you to share your work related files, folders, documents that are related to work. Because Prince George's County is using a professional Google Drive, you are able to store unlimited files, which means you never run out of room. You are also able to collaborate. In your Shared with Me section, you may notice that people may have shared files, documents, folders, or even images with you. You are able to do the same thing to others. You may share items with them as viewers, as editors, or someone who simply might need to make a comment. Finally, you can create in Google Drive. You can create documents, presentations, spreadsheets, forms, or other things as well. You can organize all of these items in your own folders. So, how exactly does this work? When working in the traditional way of attachments, you might start with one file. When you have that one file, you may send an attachment to various people so that they also are able to see that document. If there are changes, you may end up with several versions of the same document, and that can get somewhat confusing. With Google Documents, it's a little bit different. Google Docs starts with one particular file, and instead, you invite others as collaborators to view the same document. That way, you're always viewing the same version of the file. So let's jump in. First of all, log into your Prince George's County Gmail account and then navigate in the top right corner to the Apps Launcher. From the Apps Launcher, locate Drive. So, taking a look around in Google Drive, notice on the left-hand side of the screen, you have a toolbar. On the toolbar, notice that you can create new items to add to your Google Drive. You see items that are priority for you. By default, you land at My Drive. My Drive stores files that you've added into your drive. Shared with Me will show files that have been shared with you. Recent is a quick way for you to return to any file that you may have recently opened or edited. You have the option to star files to locate them quickly, move items to trash, and of course, you're able to see how much storage you use, even though storage is unlimited. Across the top of the screen, you have a search bar. You may simply search for something by keyword, or from the drop-down menu, you may search various ways by the type of file, who owns the file, when the file was modified, the name, or specific words in the file. The Quick Access section shows files that you may have opened frequently. Below the Quick Access section, you're able to see any files or folders that are currently in My Drive. You have the option to view your files by thumbnail view or by list view. The current view is by list. Therefore, any file that I see appears in a list one below the other. However, selecting the list view or grid view icon in the top right corner just below the Apps Launcher will allow you to change that view. It may be feasible to change to grid view to search for files by image. So now let's take a look at a Google Drive that has quite a few files and or folders. Notice the view is the same, except I see that I've used quite a bit of storage, but remember, storage is unlimited. You have the same search bar. The quick access, however, is more populated with frequently used files. I also am able to see icons that are folders. Notice that some of the folders have people icons on them that denote that those are being shared. Other ones do not, which show me that those are owned just by me with no other viewers or collaborators. If I were to continue to scroll, I'm able to see files, specific files that are in my drive. I still have the option to make adjustments to how I view the files or folders. From the grid view or list view option, notice that I'm currently viewing these items by grid. However, clicking on the icon will change them to the list view. It's merely your preference to determine how you'd like to view the files. As I'm viewing the files by list, however, I'm able to see very quickly who the owners of the files are. I'm able to see the last date that they were also modified. I have the ability to add new files and folders to my drive in a few different ways. Let's take a look at one way now. The simplest way is, as I'm using Google Chrome as my browser, I can simply click, hold, and drag any file that I want to appear from my desktop, my flash drive, wherever else it resides into Google Drive. So let's take a look at how to do that. Notice I have a folder on my desktop that I'd like to add here for storage. There's no point in me storing it on my desktop. If my system crashed, any file or folder that I have on my desktop would be lost. However, since I have unlimited storage space in my drive, I can store my professional files here. Notice I'm going to add this folder to my drive. As I am bringing it to my drive, notice that I have a blue box that essentially shows me where it will appear. If one folder is highlighted, whatever I'm currently adding to my drive will be added to that same folder. If all the sections are highlighted, when I release it, that folder is simply being uploaded to my drive. And notice down on the bottom right corner, I'm able to see when the upload is complete. I can click from this area and locate this particular folder, or I can use my search box to look for the folder that I've just added. Another way I can add files or folders to my drive is by selecting New. From New, I can determine whether or not I'd like to upload a file or upload a folder. In this case, I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to navigate to the section of my computer where that file is located, and I'm going to simply click Open. When I do that, once again, down on the bottom right corner of my screen, I'm able to see the file that was recently added. It's possible that as you begin to use Google Drive more and more, you might want to organize your files into folders. From the New button, select Folder to create a new folder. You'd be prompted to name your folder and click Create. In this case, my folder appeared at the very top of my list of folders. This may depend on how your content is organized in your Google Drive. It could be organized by name. It could be organized by the date last modified. Notice you have the option to show files that were last modified in general, last modified by you, or last opened by you. I'm currently viewing the files that were last modified by me. Now, If I'd like to, I could organize files by placing them into this folder. In just a moment, we'll discuss how to create new documents, which can be added to folders or simply left in my drive. You may want to star your folders so that they appear very quickly for you in your starred section. Or to make finding them easier, you may also change the color of a folder. You also have the option to add additional folders within one that you've already created. Notice you also have the option to share your folder, which we'll discuss momentarily. You may also move your folder to another location in My Drive. You may also rename your folder. Finally, you could download or remove your folder if needed. So, what exactly is Google Docs? If you're familiar with Microsoft Word, Google Docs is a similar version. Both are word processing tools that you can use to write documents, essays, important letters. The main difference between what you may be familiar with as Word and Google Docs is that all documents are stored in the cloud. They're available to you from any device as long as you log in with your PGCPS credentials. From my drive, I'm able to see folders. Just below my folders, I'm able to see various individual documents. These documents are all different types of documents. I can tell because each icon in the front of the list is different. The ones that appear as blue icons are Google Docs files. So, how do you create a new Google Doc? In the top left corner, select New. The first option is Google Docs. I have the option to create a blank document or one from a template. I'll click a blank document. If you're familiar with formatting tools in Microsoft Word, some of these icons may look similar. Notice in the top left corner of my document, it's currently untitled. If I click, I can name the document. Below the name of my file, I'm able to see the file menu. Below that are various icons, which may be familiar to you if you're familiar with other word processing tools. To add content to this particular file, I can simply begin to type. However, there are a few unique features to Google Docs. For example, under the Tools menu, you have a feature called Voice Typing. The voice typing allows you to click, give access to your microphone, and whatever you are currently speaking will appear on the document for you. When you want it to stop recording your voice, simply click the microphone. At this point, my voice is no longer being captured. I may also insert images into a document. From the Insert menu, the first option is Image. I'm also able to see the same icon on my toolbar. Under Images, I'm able to upload one from my computer, search the web, find ones in Google Drive, my Google Photos. I'm able to add images by URL from the web, or even take a picture with my camera. A reminder that since you're using professional Google Drive, your content should be related to work. When I search the web, I'm able to search for content from Google. I may add any image to my doc simply by clicking and clicking Insert. I'm also able to share files and or folders to others as collaborators. When I select Share, I'll notice that this document is private only to me. There are no other individuals who can currently view or comment on my document. However, I can add the name of an individual that I'd like to be a collaborator on my document. By default, that person becomes an editor. Editors have the same access as you on a document, except they are not able to delete your original file. From the drop-down menu next to Editor, I'm able to see Viewer. Giving someone viewer access simply means that they can look at the document without making any changes. Notice from the drop-down menu, I also have the option to make the person a commenter. Commenter means I cannot change the existing information on my doc. However, this person can comment on that particular doc. If needed, a message will be sent once I click Send. I can also personalize the message by adding a personal message in the box. There may be some cases where I need to share a doc with someone, but I'm not certain of all the individuals' names who may need to be able to access the doc. In this case, I can choose to share a document by link. This document is currently restricted. Only the names of the individuals that you see above have access. However, I can change this link so that others in Prince George's County can view, comment, or edit on the document. I also have the option to change it to anyone with the link to view, comment, or edit on the document. However, I would advise that you be careful about selecting an option where anyone is able to edit. In most cases, you are able to share with a specific individual or within Prince George's County only. Once you've determined your correct sharing settings, simply copy the link and share the link with your specific audience. Let's take a closer look at working with collaborators. Notice that this particular document has been shared with one person as a commenter, another as an editor, and anyone in Prince George's County with the ability to view it. Notice the editor is currently viewing the document along with me. In the top right corner of the document, I'm able to see an icon. And as my editor moves throughout the document, I'm able to see exactly where they are because it just so happens that we are in the document at the same time. The editor has similar access to the document as the owner, except they are not able to delete it. But as an editor, they are able to add content in much the same way. A commenter does not have the same access as an editor or the owner. They are simply able to make comments on existing content that already appears in your document. As commenters, their information shows up along the right-hand side of the document. You may have noticed that there is no Save button in Google Docs. Everything automatically saves. When you are finished making adjustments to your doc, simply close it to return to your Google Drive. You may use your search bar or any of the features discussed about Google Drive to locate your doc. In this case, I selected Recent, and I see my practice document at the top. It was the last document that I edited. That's it. This has been another production of the Technology Training Team. Thank you for watching.